Morning, folks. My name is Phil Kearney. We're going to fire up some artwork today for Spelljammer Combat Exploration. We're going to do some NPC token asset production for the Light of Xaryxis, a conversion guide for Light of Xaryxis from Spelljammer's Adventures in Space is provided with this document. So let me go ahead and verify my signal, go through my intro spiel, and then we will get to work. So let's see here, my spiel equals, hey, my name is Phil Kearney. Hi, I create role-playing games, supplement PDFs that I publish online for folks to use in their role-playing games. Currently, I focus my attention on 5th edition Dungeons & Dragons. There are a slew of links that are in the description down below that if you were to click on any of them, they would take you to the DMsGuild where my work is published currently. You can read all my work cover to cover, no costs, just like if you're in the bookstore. You can just either click on, if you're in a tablet or a desktop, there'll be a full preview as a link. It'll literally say full preview at the underneath the book cover image that you can see here on screen. You can click on that, or you can click on the eye icon that's on the right hand side of the screen if you're on a mobile phone. So whether you're on mobile or on a tablet or desktop, click on the preview link or the eye and it'll open up a full PDF. You can read the entire thing cover to cover. Amongst the different books I've produced on there, there's probably about 150 different illustrations. So if you're an art enthusiast, be welcome to tool through the document just to see the kind of artwork that I produce, the kind of ideas that I have. And if you're a D&D enthusiast, check out the mechanics, add them to your character, or if you're a DM, consider implementing them in your own campaign currently. And if they're fun, or if you think any of these ideas are cool, or if you just want to support my channel, certainly consider making some purchases. And beyond that, best way to support the channel currently is to help me with likes, subscriptions specifically, and the bell icon, so that YouTube can recognize that long form creation is something that folks like to tune into. And so what would we do? We create role-playing game supplements, right? So we first write them and then send them off to our editor and get them back, and then we start doing page layouts. We are in the process of creating page layouts right now. We're on page, this is page, exploration here is page 57 of 105, 104 really. So this week we've processed this page and this page, 58, 59, and 60, 61, 62, 63, we finished this one last night. 60, this is page 63 of 105. We're still in the this is the section that's talking about mapping and traveling in wild space, how to be able to map systems. We're still in the process of creating the assets for this. So what is this, Friday? We'll probably actually end up spending some time doing this in the morning tomorrow when we do our design stream. And we'll do a full walkthrough of this entire document once it actually publishes on the DMsGuild, so you can see how it actually turned out, and I can give you director's cut notes on these things. But the back 25 pages of this document, which I haven't gotten to yet, is a 25-page conversion guide to the Light of Xaryxis. And for me to be able to properly, here we go, down to here. You can see that we're breaking it down. This is the rough breakdown of each page for the conversion guide, with each chapter in the section. Like we just finished doing Topola, and where was it? Lost it. That's right. We're currently in part 2, Terrors of the Void. This is the section that we're working on right. Actually, we just finished the Theurgy last week. For the Terrors of the Void, and now we are getting down into, we got past the rock, we just completed Topola's Tower, so we just finished those tokens 2 days ago, and Yeah, and then the Grave Alliance with Garganhale, and now we're creating Garganhale's crew. So, yeah, Garganhale's fleet. There you go. Garganhale is who we left off with yesterday. So today we're going to continue with the different creatures that are aboard the Second Breath that your team can try to chase down and capture to add to your crew, perhaps even. So to form a squadron for yourself. Vampirates. So here is the list of critters that we still need. Here is our document, as you can see. Garganhale. We finished Garganhale yesterday, and so we'll continue forward with that. Actually, I need to flip this dude back from whence he once belonged. For transform equals there. Flip horizontal, save, lock. Now we have the ghost. The ghost's name is Agony. And then the pilot's name is Rootledge Win. And there are Vampirates. And there's also Ogre Zombie. So let's get Garganhale out of the way. Let's check out this ghost. So Vampire Mage, Vampirates, ghost name Agony. A tiefling ghost, no less, named Agony. Let's see what, there's a link here for Vampirate block. Let's check out the Vampirate stat block. This is Agony the Ghost, which is... Thanks a lot, Wizards, for the Mysterious Shadow, which is the same as the Mysterious Shadow for the Vampirate Mage, and... Is that it? That is truly it. I don't know why I can't copy images sometimes. Kind of pisses me off. Free transform. So we're here 5 days. Oh my God, this is only Thursday. We're here 5 days a week. Monday through Friday. We're here in the evenings, Mondays and Thursdays. We will be here this evening as well. Yeah, I don't even know what these dudes got going on. This is some weirdness. I want to say that's supposed to be the boy, oh boy, I want to say open. Ghost, Vampirate Mage. It's two of them. Pirates. I'm having to manually jumpstart my fan still, but it's being really quiet, so it's a mixed bag. I think it's gonna die on me. I'm gonna have to fix it. Okay, great. Well, Tiefling Ghost. That's what we get. So let's get after it. There's no sense delaying the inevitable. We are working on. Whoa. Let's just spin something into existence, shall we? Let's see, is there anything special that this ghost does? Ghost can use a bonus action to magically teleport back to the ship, either to the lower cargo hold or a location it can see. It can move more than 100 feet and last breath of those appearances. Reform stream for hours. There you go. So. Let's drop that down like that. And let's get more specific again. That's fun. Oh, I need to set a timer. Got our timer going. Yeah, so we do page layouts. We build the document. You'll see on Tuesdays us designing the Martial Power System, which is a great example of work in progress of the design phase. And then we send it off for edits. Once the editor finishes working with it and pass it back to us, then we do the page layouts that we showed. Once the page layouts are done, then we can do the page layouts, then page dressing, all the charts and tables. Once those are built out, then we do illustrations. And so for the Light of Xaryxis section, that 25-page spread, we talk about the tactics and actions during combat for each of the characters and NPCs aboard ships that the team is potentially interacting with or combating. So it turns out that I actually do need all these token assets to help fill illustration spots in the later part of the section. So I was concerned originally that I was just making busy work for myself, but now that I'm looking at the document and it's like each one of these characters does these things, it's great to have these token assets to include next to the actions that they take, so you can see which token it is that you would use to depict these actions that they're taking. So it turns out that I needed these all along, and I just didn't realize it. And I just had that revelation this morning. So I'm super excited that I'm not wasting time. I'm in fact collapsing time frames by resolving all the assets that will be needed for me to finish this document. And I would have been really frustrated if a week or so from now I got down to that part of the document and I'm like, crap, I need a shitload of character assets. But no, I've been doing it the whole time. So by the time I actually get done with that portion of the book, we'll have all of these assets created and ready to go. And that is something I am very thankful for. I didn't realize that this would be necessary. And well, it turns out I was prepping myself for success the whole time. So I am ridiculously confident about this project as a whole. I am super looking forward to this thing publishing. More so than ever. I like this song a lot. You know, I might go to the buffet down the street today. I'm feeling kind of buffet-ish for dinner. Bunga 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 bang. Bum 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 bum. the other. Yo. The pop. Do you like that? Sweet barbecue. What is going on? There we go. Since it's a ghost, I can have the form kind of melt into itself. Like these things don't like these sleeves don't have to have conclusions. I can create them, but then just let them like this, just kind of drop away. Just kind of have it melt into her form a bit. But again, she's an NPC and she's not very important, so I don't want her looking directly at the camera. So I don't have to really concern myself with anything about the ghost specifically, just the silhouette of it. Let's let the entire form just melt into this. But it's a ghost, so I don't have to have it like really defined. It's kind of its undead nature. Like that. This one is pretty easy to do in comparison to a lot of the more complicated pieces. Hey, Nitro, it's good to see you, my guy. I will forever laugh about the second edition monster manual where this is the image of the invisible stalker that is provided in the official monster manual for second edition. That's just ridiculous. I don't think anyone got paid to do that. I mean, other than the art director, very clever. 20-minute marker. Clear this out of the way. Almost done. Oh, right on, my guy. I'll be working on the village rooftops tonight for my Thursday evening art stream. That is roughly what I'm looking to do here. Get rid of this curve here. Kind of want to leave this bottom edge off. Just run it to the edge of the page. Kind of cheap though, right? There we go. I got oil in my eye. I don't want to have that encroach too much. Honestly, that's feels pretty good. So I'm going to drop the opacity on this down and get into her. Again, I don't want her looking directly at the camera because she's just a minor NPC. I don't want her to be designated as something important. Tiefling Ghost. That's what we're working on here. I think we can. I'm on roll. Titties. Gotta do the titties right. not bad. There we go. Hey. So you're working on the events that will happen in the party on the way up to the Thorpe. Okay, they're going to be tracking down an alchemist and a watchmaker they heard about, and a bandit ambush will happen later. Oh yeah. You were mentioning the bandit. The bandit ambush last week. That's great. Considering how many little refugee Thorpes that can be populating along the Carnwood, that is bandits would be a reasonable. I'm gonna fix my chair. Would be a reasonable risk. It would also potentially be a red herring for any missing persons. If the I don't know if the I'm gonna check my fan here too. Cool. Yeah, I don't know if you're blending in people missing from the village. That's something that you guys are aware of already, or if that's something that just becomes apparent when the team shows up or not. But the original mission. For the sheriff plot hook was that there's complaints about missing people and they want you to investigate it, and the bandits would be a great red herring for that, especially if they knew the mercenaries that were working for the doing guard duty for the Emerald Claw. Like if they got tipped off that this thing was happening, there could be an informant inside of the mercenary group that gets a cut of whatever the bandits end up fencing. I mean, that's a thing you could do. I hadn't really thought about that until now, but that is absolutely a thing that could happen. There we go. That. Just like that. We're just about done here. We'll move on to the next token. Here. Text update. I see it. I don't know if a member of House Cannith would actually be on duty in the... Probably not. Maybe there's someone that run away after the war, or maybe even an aberrant dragon mark. I think it would be interesting to have any what make could be a dragon mark. Any ideas? Dragon mark, boy oh boy. Yeah, dragon mark are really prestigious. So it would be, yeah, it'd be really weird for one to be like out here in the middle of nowhere slumming it. Unless they're in exile or hiding, you know. Maybe there's a reward for them missing. Like having an actual dragon mark is like being born a multimillionaire. All you have to do is show up, and you know, you wave your hand and the magic happens, and there you go. There's a ton of prestige that goes into having a dragon mark, depending on how you're playing the campaign, of course. But traditionally, having a dragon mark means you're basically like a made man. But a Warforged watchmaker would kind of make sense, especially like if they had an obsession about trying to recreate their own type of existence. But this is Karnath, so neither House Cannith nor Warforged would be really welcome in the community, like at all. Karnath is very humanist. If you're playing it, if you're playing it as implied by the content, I have a real difficulty with saying this is how Eberron is supposed to be. You know, there's a ton of content information. I know I don't know. So there's a ton of, like, the amount of lore that's available in Eberron is insane if you want it. But it's completely unnecessary for you to run. You know, Eberron's just kind of like, as a setting, it's just like a great setup, and as much detail as you want is there for you to have, but I think any specific lore about Eberron is it only serves purpose for the moment in which it exists. Like, you don't, like saying Karnath is anti-Warforged and not a likely place to have Cannith hanging out is, you know, it's stifling your own creativity. And there's so much lore that could be considered canon that to know all of it is ridiculous. Now I feel like I should do this. go. I'm going to do that. There we go. More on what they might face as they pass through. I've been walking up earlier. Hey, great, nice to see you, Tyler. Yeah, Nitro. Depending on how closely you want to stick to the lore, Karnath is all about like humans are the destined evolutionary perfection of sentience. And so their whole religion, the whole blood of Vol thing, ironically, it's a dragon cult. It's a dragon cult, honestly, that's disguised as a the Emerald Claw is all about the origin of the cult is from a green dragon that married into the Karnath lineage. So there's dragon blood floating around inside of the royalty for Karnath, and the green dragon gave up her life to help the nation grow. The cult of the Emerald Claw, thus Green Claw, thus Green Dragon, celebrates that lineage. And so ironically, them calling themselves like humans' ultimate form is using dragon blood to become that ultimate form. There's built-in hypocrisy to it. But also beyond that, there's also rampant vampirism in the elite echelon of Karnath royalty, because I believe their base stance is that although there may be a soul, its connection to humanity is lost when you die. So there is a paranoia about being immortal to retain your humanity, you know? Like, you become a vampire to retain your humanity, it's so you can retain your sentience, as I understand it. So Warforged are looked on as sort of an abomination that you're denying. It's so hypocritical, because they have this undeath solution, and it's super low key. It's like if people openly knew that royalty was vampires, there'd be a revolt. But on that, in that same vein, Warforged are viewed as abominations that are unnaturally fusing a spirit to a human, human-looking body. So there's a lot of prejudice. There's already a lot of prejudice against Warforged on Corvair in general, anyway, because it was Sire is where the Mournland is, and Sire were the creators of the Warforged, and they had some sort of nuclear bomb, or like some sort of magical nuclear bomb go off that destroyed, the heartland of the country. And so when the war ends, the Warforged are deemed to be sentient, viable creatures. So they're, depending on what nation you're in, certainly not Karnath, but the nation like Brayland and Thrain are begrudgingly recognizing their right to exist, while Karnath is much less so. In general. It's like law enforcement, sheriffs and stuff, they take a real long, hard look at a Warforged being deputized. But that's, players are the exceptions to every rule, so that's, knowing that as a potential baseline, it opens up opportunities. that much lore is inspiring, but it's also that kind of plays into a theme that I've been kind of ranting about lately, which is the DM. Like, if you're going to set stuff up like that, you kind of need to know it in session 0 before the team picks their party. You can't really slot them with that stuff after the fact, after they've been running around and starting Karnath for 5 months of game time. Like, no one's given my Warforged character any shit so far. Why is it suddenly a big deal? It's like, well, once you establish kind of what the baseline is for how NPCs treat your characters, it's kind of hard just to spontaneously switch that up. I'm also not a really big fan of this casual intolerance. Like, if like, you really need to set up. I feel a table needs to really set up. Yeah, there's going to be prejudice and racial conflict like that that's going to lead your team into becoming murder hobos at some point. Is that the kind of game you are interested in running, or are we going to determine that your characters are going to be generally socially accepted? So, like, thus as a Warforged, either you have to bend the lore so that Karnath is cool with Warforged running around with a badge, or they don't play in Karnath, And since they're in Karnath, and I believe they have badges, that kind of puts you in a position of Warforged need to be accepted. So it could be that the core culture of Karnath actually views Warforged as a really smart solution to immortality, to be able to sustain your sentience and thus build on your humanity. But because you don't have any blood, because Warforged don't have blood, they aren't considered living, and so they don't feel like they have a soul that can evolve at all anyway. So you have to kind of bend the idea of what their beliefs are to accommodate the campaign. So, like Warforged may be looked at as like a huge mistake, but legitimately, like Warforged don't know who they were before they became sentient as machines, and there's no official answer as to where these souls came from. I believe they were originally using animals and then elementals, but I think the dark secret that I have in my campaign is that they used to be people. That the nation of Sire was overran by mechanic warlocks, basically. And so the pact that you would make to advance with invocations, like all the Cannith tech and stuff, was actually invocations being grabbed by tech worship warlocks. And when they died, when a warlock would die, its soul would become fuel for the next creation. So you're pumping your own warlock souls into the Warforged to give the warlock patron, the machine god, as it were, more presence in the physical world through constructs that you're building out of the souls of the damned warlocks that sold their soul to the Lord of Machines to create the Warforged in the first place. But that's not canon. That's just how my campaign rolls. One of our 20 level campaigns was to redeem, or was to awaken all of the souls that had been that had amnesia about their past life. So the goal of the campaign was to awaken the Warforged so that they could, have an informed opinion about what their existence is. So that became the theme of the campaign. There, that feels right. Ghost. I feel like this tail should be thinner. There, good enough. Ghost. So, this mecha book. What mecha book? I was a huge fan of the Robotech RPG. That was a Palladium book. Palladium's a hot mess of a role-playing game, but they had some cool IP underneath their belt for a while, man. Palladium had such sick artwork in it for mecha. It's just insane. There we go. God, that looks great. There. All right, Ghost. Good enough. Agony the Ghost. Get out of my life. Pilot, Riddledge win. We have some vampirates over here. I think this is supposed to be Riddledge, and I think this is supposed to just be a random vampirate. So we're gonna take that as a general theme. Let's see. What time is it? We still have 40 minutes. The one you talked about on Discord, the Mechan Gundam Powers book. Oh, yeah. Ha! That's gonna happen. That is absolutely going to happen. First, we published this Spelljammer book. Then we finished the Martial Powers book. That'll probably be, I reckon, February or March next year that it'll be finished. Eberron will be done by then. The Spelljammer book, obviously, the Spelljammer book will be done in a couple months. And then the Eberron adventure will be done hopefully by end of year or January. I think in November. I'll be able to kick out the Martial Powers book to an editor, and then so once the Martial Powers comes back, I'll now have a spell point system for non-spellcasting options, instant effects, and at that point now it's just a matter of assigning a theme to whatever those powers are, and like we can do, mecha artificers and mecha warlocks and all that stuff, and then blend them into the craft system, the fighter craft, and the word I'm trying to find. Yeah, I'm struggling here for a second. Hold on. The Infernal War Machines, Descent into Avernus. We use those as the baseline for creating the fighter craft option for the spell jamming ships, right? So that means that basically fighter craft are easy way. They can be up to 50 feet in size. Coincidentally, a TIE fighter from, like, it's just a generic TIE fighter, is 35 feet, and an X-wing is 45 feet. So both of those iconic fighter ships fit inside the 50-foot fighter craft scaling system that we have for this supplement. A Gundam, like being 100 feet tall, that just puts them into the vessel size. Basically anything 500 feet or smaller can be accommodated into the Spelljammer combat system as written, just using melee siege and melee mounted weapon systems. And of course, being equipped with like guns and shit, however it is that you're going to do your Gundam. But yeah, all the mechanics are there. It's just a matter of reflavoring the Spelljammer mechanics that we've already been developing here into a mecha system, where you've got arms and legs, you walk around, but you're now like at the 50-foot scale that you're running around in, or whatever scale of mecha you're working with. Like if we were to redo Storm King's Thunder eventually, and we're running around with giants, then having the scale be 20 feet, and then have your mecha be 20-foot or 40-foot scale mecha, also makes a lot of sense. So you just scale the world to the size of creatures that you're planning on having the team engage with, and then you just recalibrate all your maps to that scale. Once we have this book published, that scaling, hopefully that scaling concept will be in place and people grok it, so we can just keep building on it. And then once we build out mecha and Gundam systems using that scaling up to 50 feet, then we can take feats and subclasses, and like artificers get 40 spell points by 20th level, right? So you can have a bunch of combat like pilot infusions, or like one of the artificer ideas I'm playing with is like they can summon a small craft and a minor helm to pilot it. So if you have a bunch of pilot artificers, they can just basically wish fighter craft into existence, jump on them, and start fighting. So looks like it might have skipped the message, so I'll shoot you a DM for full context. Okay. I'm not comfortable doing that to my players and vice versa. Yeah, right on. I've been rewinding a bunch to write down a bunch of what you've been saying about prejudice and Carnath. I mostly asked for my own curiosity. Right on. I told my players I don't actively describe roleplay. Yeah, I don't do a lot of that either. I leave any kind of character story engagement and stuff. I leave mostly in the hands of the players. Like I've got a whole world that I'm trying to narrate, and I do a lot of stuff in the exploration pillar. So I'm busy. I'm too busy to worry about your petty, background story. It's like, if that's important to you, you need to figure out how to implement it yourself and give me some heads up so we can potentially add something into it. But I really leave it on to the players to create opportunities for them to inject backstory and stuff, because it's just I'm very much in that Beck me perspective of, if your character dies, then just build another character and keep going. And honestly, spelljamming ships, having a crew, is a great place to recruit replacement characters if your character dies, that your team already trusts, that already knows what the game plan is, already knows what the mission's going on, why they're on the ship in the first place. So like they're very natural. It's a very natural recruiting funnel. So when you have organizations, platoons, squads like that you have built into your team, like the Dragonlance, the rebuild, the Dragonlance rebuild that I want to do, it basically assumes that you're part of a platoon, and that's our starting place. Like, you're part of a platoon, you're visiting this town, it's attacked, the wars began, get ready. And from there forward, you're just basically running a platoon. going through the adventure, going through the board game, trying to build your platoon up into an army so that you can punch up at larger threats to make a difference for your nation in the war. So if your character dies, who cares? So you can make the campaign especially brutal, because you always have a ready, like you can just have another character readily available from the soldiers that your team is already leading. So you can always, so if your character dies, you can always refresh a new one. Reincarnation, resurrection is not supposed to be a thing in Dragonlance in general. No gods. So having a campaign that doesn't allow you to resurrect means you need to have a lot of characters readily available, which makes the whole platoon concept just kind of curve into itself. So. But that's a tangent. Nitro confirming Discord message for later. Is that not just the exact same pose I created? Come on, Kearney. Really? Uh-huh. Well, it is a little different. The great thing about all of this is, regardless of what happens with the DMsGuild, 5th edition, D&D in general, all these mechanics that we've been building, or I've been building over the past 4 years, is stuff that I can extract from 5e jargon and rebuild into just its own thing. That's, designed from the ground up to use all these mechanics that we've been creating. That's why I like Essence 20 so much. Essence 20 assumes the proficiency die that we use for our command checks. The whole system uses that added die instead of proficiency bonus. So most of what I've been building just naturally curves into the Essence 20 system. The mana system that we've got going for the martial powers, for instance, we're using a D6, D8, D10 at different levels. But the Essence 20 proficiency system takes you from a D4 up through a D12. I could easily recalibrate that entire system, the entire mana system, to powers, spells, psychic abilities, whatever powers it is, and whatever power source I want to implement. I could easily have those die rolls be D4s through D12s as you scale up through the tiers of power, using the proficiency bonus die as the core mechanic that backs up all of it. So it's like I'm basically using the Wizards of the Coast's IPs to prove, like, as proofs of concept for these different systems that I'm using, like the mana system. I'm using color magic for Magic the Gathering, because you've got 3 settings for Magic the Gathering that are available in D&D, having a unified color magic mechanic is useful for that stuff. The mass combat system, the upscaling maps and movement stuff, that's great for implementing with Spelljammer, but I specifically am using Spelljammer nomenclature and stuff that I can change I can file off the IP from this stuff, change, like, instead of being like instead of being a mounted orrery station, I can just have scanners. Like if I want to do a Magitech campaign, role-playing game, I have everything that I need in these books to be able to do that. And I'll be able to specifically build the role-playing game around the assumption that you'll have these things, instead of me creating power systems and variant rule mechanics that use Wizards of the Coast's concept of what 5e is supposed to be. I can basically reflavor and rewrite everything from an Essence 20 perspective to implement Gundam Magitech, basically, and build a space opera type campaign from the ground up. So instead of spellcasting, it basically used the basic power system. And like I was talking on Durzazad's Discord yesterday, like if I make Warlock the basic chassis for how you build characters, then I can just have like a stack of pilot options and like commander options and like information technology options. As like an off Starfinder sort of. God damn it! My leg just hit my. I just dropped my chair. My chair has an up down button, but it's broken. There we go. There. But that could be 2030, you know? I have no idea when I'm actually going to want to pull the trigger on that thing. When will I finally be done with the DMsGuild? When is the DMsGuild going to finally be done with us? What options are we going to have to being third-party content creators in the new 5.5 world that's coming up at the end of next year? Once I know better how WotC wants me to play in the world, I'll know what world I'm going to play in. So if they kick us out and it's no longer viable for us to make third-party content for Wizard stuff, I'll just start doing Kickstarters instead for these mechanics. And just shift gears and keep building. But I love color magic. Fucking love MTG. Love all the IPs that Wizards has access to. And if they're going to keep creating content, then I don't mind playing in that space as long as it makes sense to do it. We'll see. Now I'm talking business, and that's boring. Okay. I can take this, I can bend it like that. Also a minor NPC, just a ship pilot. I see text. Give me a second here to resolve this line here. Or this space anyway. I'll get to you in a sec. There. What's your current NPC token lineup? Oh my god, what? Fuck all, dude. Oh, do you just want me to kick through them all real quick? Sure. Hold on. From the beginning, we got the Plasmoid Explorer, which is crew member for the Xaryxis elves. Prince Zeleth, the Emperor of Xaryxis. Captain Sartell, the first captain that runs the ship. This is Flapjack, the flump that pilots the first ship that you're aboard. This is still a little rough, but that's just an armored brute. This is Travis, who instigates a mutiny aboard your ship with Travis's brutes. This is an Elven Warrior, which is just a generic token for soldiers. This is an Elven Commander that runs the ship that you first fight, and you see them. They're basically the commander for any Starmoss ship that you fight that are under Elven control. Elven Pilot, you have to have a priest. They have priests running their ships, so there it is. This is Princess Zeleth. This is a human crew member on a boat. Here's a human refugee that you have on board the first boat. Female human refugee. Male human refugee. Next. This is a Neogi. This is an Umber Hulk, a Neogi servant creature. This is a human slave, or a commoner. Enslaved commoner is how they describe it in the book. Here is a Githyanki commander. No, Githyanki. A Hadozi crew member. So far, so good, right? I'll color all these. Then we have Garganhale, Vampire Captain. We just finished the ghost named Agony, a tiefling ghost. And now we're working on, what's her name? Routledge Wind, the pilot of the vampire ship that you chase down to help Garganhale get back control of his ship. These dudes mutiny. So Garganhale is the captain of the ship. He's oh wait, I didn't do. Here's Topola that we created. She has information about Doom Space and Xaryxis space that the team needs. And here is one of her Autognome companion tokens. So Topola used to date Garganhale. They broke up. Garganhale went off to be a mercenary warrior to fight against the Xaryxis elves. Agony, a ghost that is bound to the Last Breath, which is the ghost pirate ship that Garganhale commands. So the ghost Agony and Routledge, they mutiny and steal the ship. So you get Garganhale on board with you, quote unquote on board, helping you out by helping him get his ship back, and in payment, in return, he can optionally be an additional ship that you build to have with you during the rest of the adventure. Oh wait, there was more that I skipped accidentally. No wait. Yeah, I skipped some. So there's Commander Crux, who is in command of the second ship that you pick up. Mr. Finch, his first mate. That's Fel Aldra, who is the pilot for Crux's Spelljammer ship. Here's a Stain, who attacks you on your way to Topola's tower while you're aboard Crux's ship. And here is Starbow, the Trent that is bound to Crux's living ship. That's the full array. So if the second wind, Starbow's ship, if that's destroyed, then you pick up Garganhale, who can provide you with an alternate ship for you to continue forward with. So you can always destroy ships and pick up new ones throughout the course of the adventure. And then we're here. So these are fun. They're fun little tokens. And then when we go into the adventure here, like Grave Alliance, Ship of the Dead, Aboard the Last Breath, the Vampirate Mage, Pilot, Rutledge Wind, that's who we're working on right now. So when I build this and I rebuild this stat block, I can make this stat block more vertical. So like it goes down to here, and then I can drop this token next to it, like here. Or however it is I build this out, or like I build this out along here, and then I like do our basic stat line down the line here, and then I can put her token here as an illustration. So I can fill up this page and other pages with the tokens that we're creating right now to be the illustrations that are inside the book that we're in the process of building layouts for. So we'll be able to use all these blank spots inside this adventure space. We'll be able to use with these token illustrations, as well as ship diagrams for the different maps and stuff that we have inside of the adventure itself. If we go to, like Topola's Tower has this as a map for you to be able to chase down. Like if Hornetico was here, he'd be able to retell to you, the playtesting that went for fighting space sharks in this asteroid field, and this is where Topola's Tower is at. So yeah. Anyway, so this asset can get dropped like into Topola's Tower, like over here, for instance. This would be a place where we would put this map. But this is the type of mapping that we did for this, which we did like back, I think, like around episode, I want to say like around episode 20. I think we started building out this map. But then we have the total tangent. Don't mind me. Where is it? Siege Commander and Support. Squadron Part 2, Terrors of the Void. Yeah, this is about where we're at. Topola's Tower should just be right down to the rescue. Second Wind, his Cruxes and Starbow's ship, friend indeed. Topola's Tower, here we go. So obtaining Topola's help. Oh mama, this is the map that we show inside of the adventure book here. So this is where this map would be here. And then it talks about down here, watch for mama. Here is the description for the different results that you can get. And this isn't formatted properly yet, but there's 6 different locations throughout here. And here's the different locations, and you can roll randomly for which location has sharks at the moment that you have to chase off or kill to get Topola's help, right? So if they're like, say, at the abandoned nests, which is over here. This is the abandoned nests. Pelicans used to rest here, but scavvers found them too often. If Big Mama is found here, there's a 25% chance she is ravenous, making attack rolls with advantage. So if you try to fight her while she's over here, she'll have advantage on her attacks. But if like we're over here at Slumber Rock is number 5, this big flat rock here. Slumber Rock is, for unknown reasons, scavvers like to drift next to this large rock while sleeping. If Big Mama is found here, there's a 25% chance she's asleep. So you get free attack. I mean, she's got like 200 some odd hit points. Getting free attacks on her is great. If your DM's like, yeah, I think these guys going to have a problem, then from Topola's Tower, you've got an orrery sensor that can pick up scavvers coming to and from this system. And if you're rolling randomly, or if the DM decides that, yeah, one of them is going to drift over here and sleep at Slumber Rock, it's like, there's one sleeping, go fuck it up before it wakes up. So the team can run over or fly over there and start, attacking that scavenger while she's asleep. So thanks. It's cool. It's an ambitious project. But what's awesome about this is that when we finish this, this is basically our dry run for the Eberron adventure that we're doing on the other stream on Mondays and Thursday nights. That's in the process of being edited, and it's also a 100-page document. But using the same format, we'll be building all the creature tokens. We've already been building all the maps and stuff. We break up that map room by room to fill into these different pieces. So basically, this document is my is me learning how to format and edit and do layouts for adventures. So it's bless me. This is feeding into the next project that we're going to work on. So it's time well spent, and it's just going to make the Eberron process that much more efficient. But yeah, this is all these assets that we've been creating here in the morning are going to just get dropped into this content, and we should have the line art done early next week. I'll be on vacation. We'll be able to finish out all the layouts for this during that week, and then when I'm back on my normal schedule on the 22nd, then the layouts will be done, all the tokens will be under the coloration process, and we'll start to be able, with the layouts being done, all we'll be focusing on is assets, art assets, and then dropping them actually into the book page by page as we go through this thing. It's like most of the stuff that we need in this book is actually map diagrams, ship diagrams, ships interacting with each other. Like this is what we did last night. Realm space here, each one of these squares is 400 million miles. So you've got the edge of astral space here, and then we'll fill all this in properly. But we have to do a zoom in map because this here is a 400 million mile radius inner system where there's the Sun, Anadia, Kalir, Toril, Capri, and Chandos. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. I actually need more than that. I only have 3 represented here, but I actually need 5 planets that are in this area. So we'll do a separate map. Probably right next to it over here. We'll drop an identical. We'll drop a similar map, but it will be each square is 50 million miles. So we can notice the difference between the distance from the Sun to Anadia to Collier to Toril to Capri to Chandos. Each an 8x8 grid will be able to do something similar to this format, but this is basically a wild space system of realm space at the 400 million mile scale. So anytime you're inside of this square, it takes 4 days to cross this square to move from the astral space, the astral sea border into realm space, and you start here, so 1 day, 2 days, 3 days, or 1 square, 2 square, 3 square, 4 square. That's 16 days to get from here to this. This is Hekatha, I think. Yeah, which is a beholder planet. So fuck off. But we have all the mechanics in here, how like to deal with like rotating planets over time, and most of these things don't need to move but once a month. So when you come into a system, if this is how they're lined up in the system, chances are it's going to stay like at most like from here to here is going to be 30 days. So you'd move this one square, you'd move this one square, you'd move this one square, and then this inner system is moving fast. So then we'll use the zoom in map over here to be able to demonstrate how these sit. And when we actually build the Roll20 assets for all this, we can have a blank map, and then each one of these is a separate token that sits inside of the map. So it's just a circle token, and you can just move it from square to square. And when we finish this, we'll have a path that you can see like which of these squares on this arc are you actually supposed to show as being a new square when it moves from month to 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 month, like that. So we'll have like this little square path that you move them around to give DMs an idea about which square am I supposed to be moving on inside of this circle as they orbit, and then we break that shit down for you. So that's the spiel. That's all the bits. So, but yeah, all these assets we've been creating for the past few months are what's going to populate the book. So, and then, you know, as you're playing the adventure, assuming that you purchase, you know, you purchase the book, so you get the assets. I mean, well, you guys are playtesters, so I'll give it to you guys for free. But anyone else that's out there that's interested in this stuff, if they buy the thing, then they get all these tokens that they're going to see throughout the book that they can use and line up and use the exact same way that I'm describing. It's like set up your tokens this way. Here's your token file. Set up your tokens this way to defend the Citadel on this map. All those assets are in there for you. So making it as easy to play the game with the changes that we've made as possible to, you know, so that people are willing to give it a try. If you make it easy for people, they're willing to give it a try. And we'll be able to do similar with the Eberron adventure. And whatever spaces these tokens, maps, and ship tokens can't occupy, then we can actually build like actual illustrations. So for the 104-page document that we have, I think we may need like 80 illustration, like 80 visual assets, but like maybe only 20 of them I actually need to paint as separate illustrations from all these tokens already. It's like 80% of the work of the visual assets for this is already being resolved throughout all this stuff that we've been streaming. So I always make my ears too low. Actually, should be more like that. Yeah, the ear hole should line up with the nostril because of sinuses. I like this token too. I'm loving like almost all these characters that we've been designing here. Almost like I fucking love all of them. I've been very, very happy with what the Muse has been coming up with to depict these characters. I think they're all like just super cool characters. Casual Tibbies. Where are we at? 7:53? Uh-oh. Too much tangent, too long. Elbow goes to here. Elbow goes to here. Something like that. We're not going to be able to finish this. I have to go in a few minutes. But we're going to be back tonight. We're going to continue rooftops. I think we have all the difficult rooftops done in the village Thorpe, and we'll be able to hopefully knock out the remaining few today. And then we'll work on the furnishings as individual tokens to clean those up, and then we'll colorize everything, and then the Thorpe will be done. Oh yeah, then we gotta create the zombie apocalypse version of the map. So after we finish all the assets, we'll build the wrecked village version, and then we'll colorize both of them. And then after that, we have a few vignettes, a few random optional encounters with optional maps that take place inside of the forest and in the manifest zone. So I think we have like 4 or 5 different like 20 by 20 maps, like little small maps that we get to build. That'll be considerably small. I mean, like the maps that we've been working on are like 55 by 55, 75 by 75. They're huge. But when we get into those little vignettes, they're very, very like 10 by 10, 20 by 20, 30 by 30. Much smaller, much easier to process, much faster. And once those are done, once those maps are done, then we actually get to do creature token production. So we'll start doing creatures. And once all the creatures are done and the maps are done, chances are the editing will be done as well. And once the Spelljammer book is off our plate, then Eberron comes forward, and we do Eberron Monday through Friday and Saturday every week. And then Martial Powers becomes our Monday, Thursday project. Either that, or we start doing more. Honestly, don't know. Probably Martial Powers. But I also have the Guilds and Kingdoms book. I also have the Mass Combat book, which will be converted into the Dragonlance campaign. So I suspect Mondays and Thursdays. I think Mondays and Thursdays are going to stick with Martial Powers for us to be able to punch through that more quickly. But then Tuesday lunch. Since Martial Powers will be on my Monday, Thursday docket, that opens up my 1 day a week Tuesday lunch stream, which I suspect we'll start doing. I think we'll do Guilds and Kingdoms with that. Probably. We'll see. Anyway, it is 7:58 here in Seattle, and I'm just going to go ahead and stop my timer because I know it's time for me to go. So I'm going to be back in. I'll be back in 11 hours, maybe 10. I'll be back 10 or 11. I'll be back. I'm going to be back tonight. We're going to do more Eberron cartography, and then we'll be back tomorrow morning. We'll finish up this gal and the vampire crew and the ogre zombie, and then we'll only have 5 left. So we should have her finished and probably the ogre zombie tomorrow, and then on Monday, I'll be on vacation, so I'll have 3 hours in the morning instead of 100 minutes, assuming that I can sustain that much momentum without burning out. So I can only do so many hours in a row on stream with artwork. But on Monday, we should have the Vampirates finished. We'll have Monday morning, we'll have Monday evening. We're going to have Monday morning, Monday afternoon, and then Monday evening. Tuesday morning, Tuesday lunch will be an extended stream. Wednesday morning, Wednesday afternoon, Thursday morning, Thursday afternoon, Thursday night, Friday morning, Friday afternoon. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. From Monday to Friday, we'll have 12 sessions, at least 2 hours a pop. So we're gonna drill through some content, and then on my off time when I'm not streaming, I'll be continuing the layouts for this book. So, and I should be able to put in about 3 to 5 hours a day for that. So that should get us to the point where we're deep into the Xaryxis content at that point. So that's the idea. See ya, Nitro. Thanks all for hanging out, guys. If you're new to the stream, I'm here 6 days a week. Like and subscribe. Check out what we got going on. Love to have you. And we'll see you later on tonight.